Like, when did you get into spirituality? Was there some bad phase of your life?
So luckily I didn't have any bad phase. Yeah, there was. If I can share it, one of my cousin had cancer, and he was diagnosed when he was at stage 4.
Okay.
And he was a very good person by nature. So it was kind of shock to me.
Okay.
So at that point of time, I felt a little bit down and a little sad. And I was searching for answers.
Okay.
Why it happened to him. So many bad people in the world, and he is such a good person. And same point of time, one of my cousins, daughter, she passed away. She was like 1 year, 2 to 3 months old. So then again the same question, what did she do wrong that this is happening to her? You have to have some reasons when something this happens to someone very close to you. You have to have some reason why this is happening. And that led me to spirituality, finding those answers, and I was a little bit disturbed by these questions for not a very long time, but for a very short period of time, because I got help from this. When I went to the spirituality, I got my answers, and I accepted those answers very fast because there was no other option. You have to make peace with it and move forward. So I found my answers, and then I got connected more into spirituality.
Many people think that reading books helps them, like they give them mental clarity. So do you also think that?
So that's the thing about me. Generally, how I am and how I talk, people perceive me as a reader.
Okay.
But I have never been a reader.
Okay.
I have never read books. I just used in my college days also. I study book of syllabus only.
Okay.
And something extra if you want to learn about that thing only. I was never like a story reader or a novel reader or something like that. It was never like that. So I was never a reader of a book. I always liked to watch more than read. I used to watch the documentary of something about if it's about some person. So more than reading the autobiography, I like to watch the autobiography. So it's like that. So I never used to read books. There was a phase where I wanted to read. I borrowed a book also.
Okay.
I read and I got interested, but I never went through it completely.
Okay.
So it was like that. So it's still not there. In mobile also, I never today we have all the books in mobile. So I don't read novels or big stories and everything. I just read articles and then watching news and articles about things, sometimes about life and something like that. Short article I can read. But I'm not much of a reader. I think I'm more of a writer. I have never written anything, but I feel I'm more of a writer. But I think you can be a good writer if you start reading. So I've never wrote anything. Like I wrote articles only, like small articles about things. So about like friendship or about anything. Like if there is an image, like there was an image of 4 leaves of different sizes, and I compared that to life and life situations. I've written a page about it, a page or 2 like. So I like to compare things which are naturally occurring or situations to a certain things in your life and how you can take decision with it or how your life goes like that. It's kind of that. So I'm not much of a reader.
So like I've got one more question for you. It's about your relationship.
Yeah.
And so your marriage was a love marriage, right?
Yeah.
And you got married at a very tender age, like it was just 24.
I will not say the tender age, but yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So like what's your general perspective on, like arranged marriage and love marriage?
And see, my perspective always was why there should be arranged marriage. There should not be any arranged marriage. But the thing is, after you are married, like after say 6 months or 1 year, it's all the same.
Okay.
See, in love marriage, what happens? You know that person from last say 6 months or a year, sometimes more.
Yeah.
But generally, it's like that only. If you know a person from 6 months, a year or 2, and then you marry that person because you love that person. After, if you are having an arranged marriage also, after, if you spend a year with that person, you started liking that person, and the things are almost similar, unless until if you don't like that person and there is some arguments going on and there is some clashes, then it's a different situation. But normally, generally, I feel it's same. But I don't feel the concept of arranged marriage is bad now, because see, if there were no arranged marriages, India, half of the Indians will not get married only, because so many people I know which are not able to find love. So the situation was not like that. So you have to go with the arranged marriage in that kind of situation. But I feel ki if you are open at the right time, so you will get what you want. Like you will get the partner you want. But today what happens? Generally, at that time, people are close to that concept. They are not open to it, to getting serious or to getting a serious commitment or a serious relationship. And then it's too late, and then arranged marriages are going on. Some of the arranged marriages are obviously in India are pressurized. That, and sometimes, most of the times, we are born and we are brought up like that. That arranged marriage is good and you should get arranged marriage only. When I was young, it was the concept was that only love marriage is bad. If someone has done love marriage is not a good person. It was like that.
Yeah.
When I was growing up. अरे पता है उसने लव मैरिज करा. So it was like that. So I don't feel that way. But when I got like older, the things get little bit subtler, and parents also became more accepting. And now though all the parents are very accepting, they ask their kids first. If someone is there, so you tell us. If someone is not there, we'll find someone for you. So it's that kind of scenario. So. And nowadays, if with the advent of mobile, if even in arranged marriages you find that person, you talk to that person like for 3 months, 6 months, and you see if the compatibility is there, you can get arranged marriage then. So it's kind of arranged love kind of thing. The love is arranged for you. You find a person, you see the compatibility, then you talk to it, and if you started getting into that person, you can marry that person. So it's kind of like I have done love arranged. Nowadays, arranged love is also a thing through matrimony site or through whatever WhatsApp groups.
So do you think like that's the right place to like go with that matrimonial sites? Is it fine?
See, I don't feel it's wrong.
Okay.
I cannot say it's right.
Okay.
The right way is obviously you find someone, fall in love, and get married. That is the way it should be. But everyone is not lucky enough, I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes. That is what I'm saying. You are not in that space sometimes. If the person which is compatible for you is in your life, around you, but you are in not that space, your mind is in some different space that time. So you don't fall for that person, or you avoid that thing in your life completely. Sometimes you think you are too young. Sometimes you think you should focus on something else. Sometimes you think you are too old for it now. Those things happen. So it's like that. So I think ideally you should meet someone, fall in love, and then get married. But if that doesn't happen and you go to matrimonial side, then talk to that person. And if you start have feelings, if you are not fell in love with the person, if you start having feeling and you feel compatible, you can go forward and married, and then fall in love after marriage and live your life. It's the same, because after marriage, if that is the way you went into the marriage, it doesn't matter anything after marriage, because after marriage the relationship is going to be the same, even if you are in arranged marriage or love marriage. You are going to spend the life together. That is the thing. So love marriages fail, arranged marriages also fail. So you cannot say one is better than other. But for me, I think it should be like you met someone, you fell in love, and you should get married with that person. Arranged marriage should not be a thing for me. But in Indian society, I think that's not possible still. We live with our parents and all that, and the influence of parents is so much that the freedom is still not enough for us to fall in love and choose the bride or groom for ourselves.
Did one thing change in your life after getting married? Like, was there some change in your decision making? Like, were there any pressures on you, like, in taking decisions?
No, it was not because mm, I started taking consensual decisions. So it was not a problem for me that I have, now I have to share the decision and I have to make decision by first discussing it. So it was never a problem since, and that is the beauty when you are born and brought up in Indian family, na. That's always a pressure from your parents to take any decision. You have to ask your parents. So it's not a problem if you have to ask your wife. I have to still ask my parents. Leave my wife. I have to still ask my parents to take any decision. So that's the part of your being born and brought up in an Indian family, the typical classical Indian family. So you don't feel any pressure or change. Obviously, it's a change, but you don't feel the pressure of it. Now you have to share. Obviously, so many decisions you don't take, or you take different decisions because you are married and your wife does want something else than what you want. You take decisions sometimes which you actually don't want to take. You take those decisions, but you don't feel pressure of it. It comes naturally to it, and you think, because if you are discussing something with someone, obviously if that person is always having the same opinion, there is no use of discussing only. If that person is having different opinion, then only the discussion will have a positive ending and say symbiotic effect on it to have a good end result. So it's like that.
Like many youngsters think that they kind of lose their individuality after getting married. So is it like that?
So it's kind of, that's the purpose, I think, to lose the individuality. If you want to be individual as you are, don't get married.
Okay.
So it's kind of think you lose your individuality into some other person. That's the, I think, gist of getting married. That's the vows we take at the time of getting married. There is a Hindu marriage. The Pandit makes you take 7 vows, and all the vows have the gist is like you will share everything with your wife, all the money you earn, all the decisions you will make, all the guests you invite your home, all that you will discuss with your wife. Those are the vows the priest makes you to take before getting finally married in the puja ceremony. So that is the thing. You see, kind of, you take your own decision after getting married also. Like if I wanted to start my own gym, that's what my own decision. What I want to eat, it's my own decision. I want to be fit, it's my own decision. So you will never lose your individuality, but you will be the person you are. It will not change. You should not fear that, but you should be open to lose it to someone close. Then only you will fall for someone, and then only you will your marriage will be very easy, and
like your decisions will be kind of dependent on the other person also, like your partner.
Yeah, definitely it should. It should. Then only it's being called married. And see, sometimes you will say that this is my decision. If your partner is not ready, you will take your decision. That times your individuality comes, and your partner will also, and you should open for your partner also. Your partner will also make some decision to which you are not agree, but will discussed. So think you are not agree with that person. Your partner is not agree with you, but you have discussed that with your partner. That is the thing. So you can take your own decision. It's not like you cannot take your own decisions. Your partner is just there to help you to take your own decisions. It's like that. So it's a kind of help, and discussing everything. I think it doesn't make you lose your individuality, but it's kind of, I think it's a help only to be a better individual.
Yeah, last night we had a conversation, and one thing I loved a lot, that you don't have that place in your life that would have thing.
Yeah.
So could you, like, I know it, but could you just elaborate for the audience?
See, in my life there were so many times that the decisions which were taken forcefully, or the situation were like that I have to take decision that, like, I took bio because I have to do bio. I didn't wanted to do bio, and I ended up being a doctor. So if I have not taken bio, I would have not ended up being a doctor. So that if I would have would have not taken bio. I've taken maths only. I have concentrated in maths because, as I told, I love maths and physics. So I love them. So life has a way of things.
Okay.
So life wanted me to become a doctor. So I had to take biology in 11th class.
So you like going with the flow.
So it's not like that I like going in the flow. I like to take my own decision. But sometimes in life, I think going with the flow is easier, and it's the happier choice. Easier and happier. Sometimes people will say ki it's you don't want to work hard, or you don't want to struggle, have a struggle. That's why you are choosing this. But I think ki, at the end of the day, if you want to be happy, if you want to struggle?
Yeah.
Why you want to struggle when you have a straightforward path? If there is a straightforward plain path, and if you choose a rocky path, you'll say, oh, that person is brave, he chose a long rocky path and still achieve the same thing. But the path, how was he in the path? So that is the thing. So that's the reason I will not say that I didn't have any would have could have in my life. I still, the situation still comes, but I came over it that time only, and I don't have that in my mind now. I came over that. So that is the thing. So many situations came in my life, but I don't think now that until and unless it is asked to me, like if you ask what could have or would have, then only I give a thought. Otherwise, if I am sitting like that, I have never think of that कि अरे ये होता तो वो होता, and मैं ये कर लेता और वो कर लेता, or I would have been a better place. No, I don't think. I think whatever happened, it happened for a reason, and now it happened for my good.
Okay. Yeah.
So जो बोलते हैं कि जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है, feel that's the right thing. Sometimes difficult to digest that when you are in a bad phase, but it's like that. I think कि जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है. So it's in my life, it's like that only.
We are in an information age, and we are surrounded by information. So how do you like keep yourself like surrounded with good information? Like what's the kind of stuff that you watch on probably like social media? Are you too much into social media? You have made those boundaries.
I have not made many boundaries, but I'm not too much into it. Like I don't spend too much time.
Okay.
At an early phase, I used to, but never too much time.
Okay.
Because I was never into it. There was a phase when I liked to watch news channel too much, but that was a phase, and it's past now. So I like sometimes to watch news. Generally, I hear the news on the radio. That's because my father used to hear it, so I also hear it. And I basically read newspaper. I like to read newspaper to stay updated about what currently going on everywhere in the local area and in the country and all over the place. Those are the two things. And obviously I like to read the Google feed and the news feed. I daily check it and I read it. If the something article is some like related to my field or my interest, I read it. And I am very active on WhatsApp, but I am not too much active on other platforms like Facebook or Instagram. So I have my account in Instagram also, but I'm not very active on it. And Facebook, I have so many friends. I like maybe 2,000 friends on Facebook, but I'm not very active on Facebook. I just use it to see sometimes what's new. So I spend very few minutes on Facebook. Like average daily, sometimes the whole day goes and I don't open Facebook. So it's like that. So I'm not too much into social media. It's a good thing. And I think it's not easy to put a filter to have only good information, because everything is there. So many times I read things on WhatsApp also, forwarded messages, which I like to read, but in the end you feel it's having a negative impact on your thinking process. So next time you have to be a little bit more aware that what to read and what not to read.
Yeah.
I just make sure that. But in general, it's difficult to put a filter these days. So being less on social media generally helps. And I think I avoid seeing these things in the morning, early morning. Mind is fresh, you want to absorb good things. So I hear some good spiritual things, spiritual talks in the morning, or good songs in the morning. So that time I avoid those things, especially social media at that time. That is it. Otherwise, no, I don't use any filter or there is no boundaries like that. But I give less time to it, and other thing in the morning I avoid it completely.
So like this question is related to your profession only. So like how can a normal person at his or her home maintain his oral health?
Okay, so first of all, in India we generally don't use. We are not used to doing brush twice daily. And it's common habit that we brush only once and that too in the morning. So I start with saying that everybody knows we should brush at least twice a day, and especially should brush especially before going to sleep. It's very important. And second of all, actually we should brush every time we have a meal. Like we wash our hand every time it's get dirty. So it's not possible. So at least if generally we say you should brush 3 times a day after every meal, and not possible, so at least twice a day you should brush. And that's the bare minimum. Twice a day is bare minimum. It should not go once a day. And you should use dental floss to clean the proximal area, like the space between the two teeth, because that the area is not accessible to your toothbrush. So you should do dental floss twice a day. At least once a day you should floss to clean the contact areas of your tooth and the area in between the two teeth. So those are the 2 things. And the third, you should visit your dentist at least once in 6 months to get a regular checkup. And if something is getting in your mouth, you can get it to know at an early stage, and you can get it treated or be more aware of it and take more precaution. Third, I'll suggest to the kids that you should not have too much of snacks, and meal between the meal causes more of the cavities. And avoid having more of a sticky food. Eating fibrous fruits and salad helping cleaning the teeth naturally. Like eating a lot of salads and fruits, fibrous foods helps cleaning the teeth naturally. You should have that, especially with your meal. So it naturally cleans your teeth. The processed food are more sticky, and there are more chances to have cavities with the processed food. So if you avoid that, it will be good. And even if you have that, brush it out, or have something natural also with it, so that there is not natural cleansing also. Cold drink and acidic food, acidic drinks have a very negative impact to your health, your teeth, and oral cavity. You should avoid those things. And obviously tobacco and smoking are very bad for your health. It's as bad for your complete physical, your heart, kidney, and lungs, and everything. Is bad for everything, and especially for your oral cavity, it's not good. So you should avoid those things.
So there are like a lot of toothpaste brands in the market in the current scenario. So how can a person like what are the ingredients should we like just check on before buying any toothpaste?
See, generally, if you are not having any dental problem, I suggest you can use any general toothpaste.
Okay.
It's not required to use some medical.
Any those ingredients?
You should not use any harsh toothpaste. Like the ones which have something extra, they are not smooth. And they are a little bit more aggressive than a normal toothpaste. Like the tooth powder which used to come. The tooth powder is very aggressive. So you should not use tooth powder. And the toothpaste also, which are a little bit more aggressive, if they say especially for whitening toothpaste, they're a little bit more aggressive. So you should not use that. So I would not take any brand name, but you can use any good toothpaste of any company. Basic toothpaste, you should know. You should not go for any medicated toothpaste because it's how you brush is more important than toothpaste. Toothpaste just facilitate you.
Should we follow that 2 minute thing, like brush for 2 minutes, or
Yeah, if you are brushing properly, it takes 2 to 3 minutes only.
okay?
It doesn't take more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 to 3 minutes, but you can type the modified BAS technique is the proper technique. You can type on YouTube and see the video how you should brush,
Okay.
and you should clean your tongue after
Mhm.
brushing with your brush only.
Okay.
You can clean your tongue, and you should not use any metal tongue cleaner.
Okay.
That is very harsh on your tongue. In long term, it's not good.
Mhm.
So you should either use a plastic tongue cleaner, and that's if you want to use a tongue cleaner, you go for a plastic tongue cleaner, or these days there are small tongue cleaner behind the brush only. You can use that, or you can use bristles of your brush. That is also fine.
Mhm.
And that's it. Let's take care of your oral cavity. It's not difficult to take care of your oral cavity. People are generally too complacent and too lenient and too complacent, and they're too lazy to take care of their teeth, and that's why they have their problems.
You are 33 right now, right?
Yeah.
And you have achieved so much. I would say that you're content with your life, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you have. So, do you miss out on something? Like, do you feel that I have missed out this thing in my life?
Actually, see, when you feel happy and content, you
Feel that you missed out in things, but I feel I missed out on stuff, having fun stuff, because so much less to do in Amla.
Okay.
That thing I just feel I miss out because I love to party, I love to go to places to party, and all those things I think I miss a bit. But now I feel I can do that also. I can go outside and do all those things, but it's not easy to do. And I know my colleagues and my batchmates who also are dentists and practice in a large city also. They also work 6 days a week, so they don't have time to go and do the stuff which I think I would have done if I've stayed in the city. So it's the same actually, but obviously since things are not here, there is no movie theater. If you want to buy something for yourself, it's difficult to buy in here, and all those things I miss a bit. Other than that, I don't feel I have missed out on anything. All the things fell in places for me. Sometimes earlier than when I wanted, sometimes later than when I wanted, but it fell in places. So I don't feel miss out. Though that is the thing I feel I missed out, and I am still missing out the fun of a large city. But then obviously, then you don't have the peace of the Samla town. If you have trade somewhere, you can't have everything. So I chose this, and I feel this is the right choice because I can go and have fun and come back to this peace whenever I want. Because if you are in a city, you have fun, but the clutter and the way the life is, I don't like it. And now, though, when I've spent last 10 years here in my clinic and doing practice and with my family, which I feel more and more that this is a better way to live life than how they live in the city.
You have almost achieved whatever you wanted, right?
Okay.
And so where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Like,
See, I will not say I have achieved whatever I want because I never wanted to be a doctor, as I told at the start of the beginning. But I still don't know what I want to be.
One thing
Like you still haven't found your passion.
See, one passion which I found and which I am doing right now is I wanted to be a good family man. So I'm passionate about being a good family man. So it includes being a good son, being a good husband, and being a good father, and being a good friend. So those things, I think everybody focus on them, but I focus on them mostly. I'm passionate about all those things. That is one thing I know, and I think that is my thing. That is the thing I found about myself. When I ask question what I'm passionate about, and see that answer I got is how I got that answer that I'm passionate about these things more than anything else is when I start asking me ki what is influencing my decisions in my daily life, like what the decision I'm taking is influenced by what. So it's everything I'm doing in my life is for me, my family, and my friends. So it's like that. So I'm passionate about them only right now. But I feel I'll find something in my life to do other than this dentistry. And I like to do social work also. I've been doing it on and off. So it's I've tried so many different things. I've done postgraduate diploma in business management also. It's what was a hybrid course. So I've done that also to learn new thing and to see if there is something that I'm passionate about and I go in a different path or different journey from there. But still now I can't say that I found something that I'm very passionate about. So I feel very good practicing dentistry and being a doctor is very satisfying job. And not say monetarily, but mentally it's very satisfying when a person comes and tells that yes, I am relieved of my pain and able to chew food. So that's very satisfying. My job is very satisfying actually. So that makes me a little complacent to try to find my passion. So I've not tried any new thing in last few years. So to know what your passion is, you have to try new things.
Yeah,
And only
yeah.
you have to go places and you have to meet persons. So I'm like in a shell. So I'm not trying many new things. I'm not meeting new people. So it's very difficult for me to find my passion now. But I think I'll have my time. Then I'll have my time and I'll find something. And if it's going to happen, it will happen. If it doesn't happen, I have no regrets because as I've told you, I'm passionate about being a family man. So that I'm passionate about and that I'm doing right now. So it's all good.
I would like to end our conversation by asking this last question to you, and that's like if there's a young kid out there who wants to do something in this field, so how one can do it?
So I'll say, if I say it honestly, if you had asked me this question, I would have said don't get into medical field in the current scenario.
Okay. Why is it so?
Because one, it's very difficult to get in.
Okay.
Second, it's very expensive. Not just money wise, it's very expensive physically and mentally. You have to give a lot of time to it. Generally, your college life is not a fun college life. It's not that fun in a medical college than as compared to a management college or a degree college or engineering college or other professional courses. So it's like that. Second, it's the returns are not that good. The amount of money and time you spend. If you want to earn money, don't become a doctor. If you want to earn good money, don't become a doctor. If you want to serve people, and I think everybody will say and everybody want to be doctor because to serve people.
Yeah.
But see, at the end of the day, you have to earn for you yourself and your family too. So if you're focused, if you think you'll earn good money, become a doctor, and by becoming a doctor, I think you should not become a doctor. And if you want really genuinely to serve people in a way, even if you are taking fees, still you are serving people. It's not like if you are doing free service then only it is called a service. If you take a fee, then also it's a service but then if you want to be in a healing job, then you can choose this. It's very good, and as I told, it's very satisfying job. I don't think there can be any more satisfying job than this. So if you want that, you want satisfaction, you go into medical field. If you want money and fun, don't go into medical field.
Okay.
So don't become a doctor because you feel it's a very good job. And doctor have a very good value in the society, because these days doctors do not have much value in the society. the doctors and the society both are at the blame. I will not say the society only at the blame, but the media is so much hyped about these things that the value of doctors are getting decremented day by day. So it's not a good place, good time to be a doctor, I think. In our place, it's good, but generally people don't come back to small places. So many people have done, so many people have become doctor and the MD and MS they are, and from Amla. But still Amla don't have any doctor. So it's like that. So, but if see, I'll say a message if you want, like if a kid want to be something, be that. If you want to become a doctor, obviously go forward and become a doctor if you feel passionate about it. See, so many of my friends done engineering, they never felt passionate about engineering. But if you want to earn a livelihood, you have to do something. So in that way, if you want to go in a medical field, you should not go. To earn a livelihood, it's not a good field. If you are passionate about it, definitely you should go for it. But you should not expect too much from it. That's the thing I'll tell. That's the message. I don't want to be very negative. It's very, very satisfying job. If you are passionate about it, you will love it. If you end up being a good doctor, you have less time for your family. You will have less time for yourself. You will have less time for the partying. So all those stuff. If you want in your life, I'll say don't become a doctor. Don't take this hard decision on yourself. If you are very passionate about it, then only you go for it, and then only you are going to become a very good doctor. If you are very passionate about it.
So yeah, that was it for like this conversation.
Okay.
Thank you so much for doing it. And
It was totally my pleasure.
yeah, and like you are one of the most open and positive person I've come across in my life.
Thank you very much.
Like you are very open to like whatever things I've discussed, and people come for you like counselings also, right?
Yeah.
So that is also like good thing about you. And once again, thank you for like giving this precious time.
Most welcome. Most welcome.